Hey, we want to welcome everybody in our worldwide audience to Westchester High School here in Los Angeles, California. I have the Westchester boys basketball team and the ladies also here. One of the great programs in Los Angeles. They currently have a Los Angeles Laker who played at Westchester, Trevor Ariza, and we just want to say hello to you guys. How you doing today? Yeah. Are you excited to be here? Yeah. Well, do you understand why we are here today? Well, we talked about this earlier, and my father was a basketball coach. He coached in college, he coached in the pros, and he always used to tell me, and he always bring me home these big, high-top shoes, because he said, you got to wear high tops, your ankles. You don't want to hurt your ankles. And I was like, all right, what do you guys think about that? Do you think you need to wear high-top shoes? Anybody out here? What do you think? Do you need to wear high-top shoes to play basketball? Yeah? You need them for the support, right? You don't want to get injured, right? Maybe that changes today. Today with us, a guy who is a 10-time NBA All-Star, the reigning MVP of the National Basketball Association, and of course the star of the Los Angeles Lakers. It's amazing to see him play. Our very own Kobe Bryant. Yo, it's Kobe. I mean, it's not just like...
What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? What's up, man?
How you doing?
I'm all right.
Great to see you. First of all, I want to tell everybody, especially the folks on the internet around the world, back in, I think it was 2000,
Yeah.
I get this call, and it's like, after your folks said, hey, Kobe wants to do this thing on the internet. And now in 2000, the internet's really not popping off. Right. But you did a post-game talk back to folks all around the world. So you've always been an innovator. Is that true? You're into the technology?
Well, what we try to do is try to bring our fans closer together so you can get information, quicker, as opposed to waiting to the next day or, waiting to the news or something like that. You can kind of get it right then and there.
And speaking of news, team's playing well right now. You're playing well. How's the season going in your estimation?
It's going well. It's going well. We're doing good. Obviously being 18-3, we're very pleased with that. We still feel like there's plenty of room to improve and get better, and plan on doing it.
All right. Meanwhile, what's going on with this shoe thing? Because we were just talking about the fact that you got to wear a high top if you play basketball, right?
Who said?
Well, I mean, that's what we all been told.
Yeah, no,
right?
that's false.
How is that false?
Well, everybody in here is athletic basketball players and all that. And, I played basketball since I was 6. And I've been in high tops for the majority of those years.
Sure.
And I sprained my ankle. Every time I sprained my ankle, I was in a high top. The high top ain't do nothing for me. You come down on the ankle, you're going to sprain. Come down on the foot, you're going to sprain your ankle.
Right.
So what I wanted to do is I wanted to minimize the amount of weight that I had in the shoe. So I wanted to decrease the weight, and I wanted to increase the mobility in the movement of my foot.
Sure.
If that makes any sense. I feel like the foot should be moving in its natural state, in its natural range. And I feel like that would make me quicker, give me more reaction time, more response time. And but again, to do that, if you have a shoe that's low cut and that you want to decrease the weight, a lot of times you lose the cushion in the shoe.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So what I directed Eric Avar, who's the designer extraordinaire somewhere around here, and I said I wanted to do all these things, but I didn't want to sacrifice the stability or the cushioning in the shoe, and he pulled it off.
Speaking of that shoe, I guess we shouldn't wait any longer. But you are always on the court looking for that extra little edge, aren't you?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's what it's about.
All right, well, let's talk about this new shoe.
Let's do it.
Let's unveil it right now. Everybody ready? Got the cameras? Are y'all ready? Yeah. Here it is, the new.
That's it.
Low cut.
That's it. It's the low cut right here.
Corey, that is unbelievable.
Thank you. Thank you. No, it's a tribute to the design, man. Eric Avar did a fantastic job. And like I said, you can see it's low cut. The weight is basically no weight to it at all. So.
Well, let's be honest. This is now the lightest basketball shoe made by Nike. And one of the reasons it's light, and let's talk about some of the construction. 2 things from this shoe came from the Olympics.
Right.
One of them, thank goodness for, is the lunar light. It's like the new air. And for guys like me, the lunar light makes all the difference in the world because it absorbs in a sense, right? Explain lunar light.
Well, also, it's the fly wire technology.
Right. And that's
which was present in the Hyperdome. How many guys wear the Hyperdome? Exactly. So, the fly wire technology is still present because it increases the strength in the shoe and holds it together. But still, the technology is so light, it doesn't increase the weight of the shoe.
Sure.
So.
And that's another thing that came from the Olympics. And you can literally see your finger through here, which is kind of wild. Yeah. And then, of course, you have the cup on the heel.
Well, it holds the heel in, it locks you in, and that really gives you the ankle stability that you're looking for, because the heel lock prohibits your ankle from sliding around. So it locks you in, and you're not going to, somebody crosses you up, something like that, that's on you. See what I'm saying? But, outside of that, you're well protected.
And then, let's talk about around your ankle. There is support.
There is support. There is support, particularly, as it cuts underneath the ankle. You have some cushioning there that provides some stability for you. And, one other point that I want to make about the shoe is my vision for a shoe is to have it be one and the same with the foot. Let me know if I'm getting too techie, because I'm really into this stuff. So, normally with a basketball shoes, when you cut or when you change directions, you'll feel your foot slide in the shoe. You feel it slide in the shoe. And what I want to do is I wanted to stop that, because if your foot is sliding, that means you're losing valuable time. You're losing seconds to change directions. So I wanted a shoe that was going to almost become one and the same with the foot itself. This way you're not losing that time. It's right there with you.
And by the way,
y'all ain't got to worry about that. Y'all good.
We're at school. We're at Westchester High School for those folks around the world watching this, and it's time to go to class for some of the
folks. Y'all ain't got to
folks.
worry about that. Y'all good.
Another thing that's interesting, though, is that with that shoe, you love soccer. And there is kind of a soccer element that made you think about
soccer, if you watch soccer, they put a lot more torque on their ankles than we do as basketball players. But their shoes are lower cut than this shoe. And so, it kind of gave the vision, it kind of prompted the vision of mine to play in a low-cut shoe.
Ronaldinho wears a very low-cut shoe, and that's your guy.
That he does.
All right, let's take a quick question from online, and this is from Anthony G. I think most people started, I guess he meant to say, playing the game in a low-cut shoe. How does this shoe give you a simple, less is more approach to the game?
Well, we've always kind of been on that model, particularly as it pertains to designing shoes. We always felt like the simple solution, a lot of times, the best solution. And, all of my shoes have always been pretty clean cut. The technology's it's simple to understand, although difficult to implement. It's still pretty basic.
And this will help you with your hard work if you're out there working hard.
But you know what, though? Really, the shoe, like people say, shoes make you jump higher, make you run faster. This shoe will make you jump higher, will make you run faster, because it doesn't weigh that much.
It is light.
It's just simple. It's just simple math. The shoe is extremely light, doesn't weigh anything at all, and it should make you a little faster because of it.
What made you choose the sole right here?
The design of the sole?
Yeah. What made you choose that?
Well, that came from the inspiration from the movie Spider-Man, actually, because there's a great scene, imagery in the scene where he's, I don't know, he's called Bad Spider-Man or whatever. He had a black suit on, whatever it was. And he was struggling to take the suit off, and he couldn't get it off because it was a part of him. And that got my brain into thinking about the shoe and being one with the foot, and having to be one and the same. And it's not, you can't separate them. As we talked about earlier, the changing the directions and losing seconds, that's what I wanted to get from the shoe. That's why they put that design in there, because that's what inspired me to come up with that concept.
And by the way, this will be your shoe at home for home games, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay, we're going to break out the others, but first let's take a question from here. Do we have a member of the media who wanted to ask? Do we have a question from here? Oh, there we go, right here. Young man, you have a question?
What made you decide that low top will help you improve your game instead of high top?
Well, I think some of the things that we discussed, but it's the weight of the shoe. I always look to go for a shoe that's lighter. This way I feel like it'll increase my reaction time, and speed, et cetera, et cetera. And that was the original basis of why I wanted to go to a low-cut shoe. The other reason was to have the foot move in its natural state, as opposed to being restricted by a hot top. You can actually change directions. The foot can move as it was intended to move. So those are the two reasons why I decided to go to a lower cut.
Let's take another question from here in the audience.
Aaron Phillips with Giant Magazine. My question is, you've been in the league for a long time now, coming off an MVP season. Why now? switch to a low-cut shoe? Most people would say, why fix what's not broken?
Because you're always looking to get